Jeff Slauson here from 19 News Now at the 19 News Digital Desk. We are going to be bringing you live right now to the anticipated press conference being held by the family of Jayland Walker as they are prepared to call on the Department of Justice to investigate the shooting and killing of Jayland Walker. You may remember this story has been all over the place, both nationally and of course we covered it very much so here in the city of Cleveland at WOIO. Jayland Walker, 25 years old, was shot and killed by police when he ran away from a car that was reported to be involved in some sort of an investigation. This happening last year. Then in April, so last month, a grand jury declined to indict Jayland Walker on the officers, that were responsible for the death of Jayland Walker. They declined to charge them in this crime. So we are right now showing you a live picture right now outside of the Sieberling U.S. building. This is the U.S. courthouse based in Akron. We're going to be hearing from quite a few people here, and I'll list a couple of them right now. It's the Walker family's legal team, the Walker family themselves, mom and sister, a couple of family members of people that were killed in police custody, the Cleveland Clergy Coalition, Reverend Aaron Phillips will be there. A host of social justice activists will also be available. There was a march prior to this that started at about 3 o'clock, so unsure if that march is officially done as of right now. But we're showing you live right now at the courthouse as we await what this press conference will be. Again, this is a call out for the Department of Justice to get involved in this. In addition to that, the Jayland Walker family is anticipated to have a list of demands associated with this, things that they want to see done in the Jayland Walker investigation. The call for a Department of Justice investigation was actually one that was already done, or already called upon, prior to today. So as soon as the Jayland Walker decision came down, the grand jury declined to indict the officers involved in this. Many were calling, the family of Jayland Walker, they were calling for for a grand jury to look into it, or for the Department of Justice to look into it. In addition to that, many lawmakers from the area were also calling on this as well. So it was not just the Walker family deciding this now. The list of the demands, though, that is new. So the list of demands, at least that they say that they will be calling for, pull this up really quickly, are to ensure tragedies and injustices like this are not repeated. That is where they say the demands come from in this, and the demands that they have are going to be related to this. That decision, at least to call on all of these things, some may say that feels a little late. Well, that's not necessarily true. Things like this take time. Things like this and investigations like this take time. And them calling on the Department of Justice to do some sort of investigating, it doesn't just happen overnight. So I want to show you right now, actually, the video that was scrutinized over and over again from the death of Jayland Walker here. This is of that fateful night. Let's just mute that really quickly. Sorry, we're pulling this directly off of our website, obviously. That is our Dan DeRose right there. All right, here we go. So let's play that video really quickly, and then let's hope that the press conference gets underway. But you've most likely seen this before. This is that video from the night that Jayland Walker was shot and killed. This is October 12th of 2022.
Many law firms may try to force you to
That is an
sell,
advertisement. Okay, so let's wait for this advertisement to finish. Of course, nothing can ever be easy. Showing you again the live look right now outside of the courthouse where we're expecting this conversation to happen. This again will be taking place with many members of the community, many members of the Walker family. Okay, so this is not what I wanted it to be. Okay, so we're still waiting here to see about the... Wake up, yes. following the decision by the grand jury to not indict the officers involved in Jayland Walker, we saw protests throughout the city itself. That was something that we had anticipated in part, right? I mean, we knew that they were going to happen in some way, but to the depth that they happened, we were not prepared for or necessarily aware of. Many people very much so angry about the decision. I want to play for you a story that we did at the time from the protests.
Let's get back live now to downtown Akron. Kelly Kennedy now standing by live. And Kelly, you're seeing more activity in and around that designated protest zone.
Yeah, Chris, it's been a whirlwind of a day here in Akron. A lot of emotion, a lot of pent-up anger. Things started out slow and quiet, but as you can see, just in the last 20 minutes, I'd say things have really heated up here. I just heard probably 6 to 7 gunshots. This is the second time I've heard gunshots today right near a protest area. We've seen SWAT teams pull up. Police officers are lining the blocks. Protesters are kind of all around us chanting. A lot of people, their frustrations have really reached a boiling point tonight. And I don't think this is going to slow down anytime soon. I want to show you guys some video of a protest we were at earlier this evening. Now this was over on South Main Street and East Wilbeth Road. Again, that's the location where 25-year-old Jayland Walker was shot to death by police last summer. As you can see in the video, protesters filled the streets. There were close to 100 people when we were out there earlier this evening. Many of them parked their cars to completely block the road. A lot of people I spoke to told me while that grand jury decision today was heartbreaking, it's not going to stop them from continuing to fight for justice.
This could have been one of mine. I got a younger brother. I have nephews. But in truth, he was one of ours. He belonged to all of us. These people got away with murder. I mean, how do you explain that? What do we do next?
Justice should be served. Like, that's not right. I don't care what nobody say. Don't nobody deserves to die like that. It don't matter what you did. Like, what if one of their kids got done like that? Like, it could have been any one of us. That's why we out here. But we gonna get justice. We gonna get it.
We're gonna get it.
I mean, I can't understand how we are supposed to understand 46 shots to someone's body is okay. He ran away. How was that threatening to them? And to just keep on shooting, like, it's awful. And I don't know how we're going to get past that.
So right now you're looking at the corner of South Main Street and University Avenue. We've seen some protesters clashing with police officers. You can see a very heavy police presence down here. We've had police officers pull up, SWAT teams pull up. If you take a look, Mike, if we can pan down this way, you can kind of hear the people chanting. There's even more protesters down that way. I'd say we've seen well over 100, maybe even 150 people just in the last few minutes. They kind of have been all over the downtown area right now. A lot of people really angry tonight, and they say they don't plan on going home. They plan on staying out here for the rest of the night. Tomorrow, they want to keep their message heard. For now, we're live in Akron. Kelly Kennedy, 19 News.
So that again was Kelly Kennedy from the day of the Jayland Walker grand jury announcement here, and she was talking to us and walking us through some of the protests that were taking place the day of. We're expecting a different crowd today as the Walker family. They've spoken since then, but this is really the most meaningful one that we've seen since mid-April and since that did take place, since that day happened there. Waiting still, hoping that, let me just see really quick. All right, so we're going to see if the crew on the ground there can show us a little bit more of what we're actually looking at here, not just this stagnant building. But again, for those that are just joining us, for those just jumping onto our digital stream, we are waiting for what was anticipated to be a 5 o'clock press conference from the family of Jayland Walker outside of the courthouse in Akron as they call for more change, call for a Department of Justice investigation into the grand jury's decision to not indict the officers associated with the death of Jayland Walker. And in addition to that, they are calling on change to take place. That change, more specifically, is a list of demands to ensure tragedies and injustices like this are not repeated. So that's why we have been showing you and giving you that view right now of the courthouse in downtown Akron. They started actually before this, so leading into this, there was a march that took place at 3 o'clock. Let me just see if I can try and get... All right, so I'm just trying to get an update on the timing that we have on this. In the meantime, I'll pull up some more clips here as we continue to make our way through all of this information. There was a belief, at least at the time, that there was a quote-unquote mountain of evidence in the police shooting. This is something that the family believed would ultimately lead to some sort of a conviction or at least an indictment when it comes to the officers, again, in this shooting and killing of Jayland Walker. Now, very clearly, that did not happen. Our Sarah Goldenberg has the story here that breaks down what the family was expecting and why they were expecting some sort of a decision.
Look tonight at the evidence the grand jury saw as they weighed whether or not to indict the 8 officers involved in the shooting and killing of Jayland Walker. We're also learning more about how Walker had changed weeks before he died. Investigator Sarah Goldenberg has been pouring through the massive report from Ohio BCI.
A mountain of evidence, dozens of videos, photos, and interviews, hundreds of documents, even drone footage shows the aftermath of the scene from the sky. An exhaustive investigation by Ohio BCI. Agents interviewed the 8 Akron officers involved in the deadly police shooting of Jayland Walker. They fired dozens of gunshots in 6.7 seconds, 3 to 18 shots per officer. And this stands out in the transcripts. Officers said they kept shooting because Walker was still moving when he hit the ground. When asked by the BCI agents if so many shots were excessive, over and over, officers pointed out they're trained to shoot to kill, to neutralize the threat.
But we have the death of Jayland Walker happened on June 27th, 2022.
Tragedy hit Walker's life about a month before this happened. His fiancée died in a car accident. This timeline breaks down what happened next. Walker's Google searches included quickest ways to die and what happens when you drink bleach. He continued to text his fiancée and tried to buy the house they were renting together, but his loan got denied. After that, he went to a gun range and bought a gun, the one that was later found in his car after he died. Walker's best friend, a Summit County deputy, interviewed with Euclid police a few days after his death and told them Walker was depressed and it was possibly suicide by cop. He later denied saying this. Investigators did not conclude this was suicide by cop. They said it was clear he was going through a difficult time. Jayland Walker's friends said he was hurt but doing okay. Sarah Goldenberg, 19 News.
All right, so we just learned from our Michelle Nix that the march seems like it's going to take another 30 minutes or so. Okay, so we'll have to get an update here. I'll keep this on live right now. We're gonna, as soon as this update is kind of known, we may take a break here and then come back, just because we'll have a 30-minute gap essentially. Okay, 30 minutes. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put our standby up again, and then we'll come back as soon as we know that we are about 5 minutes, a few minutes out, and then we'll go from there. So we will see you in just a little bit.
were they using here in 1801?
Huh?
They said 1801.
So should I stop?
We're gonna set up 'cause I don't want to.
Is that
I'm just gonna go right here.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah. Super tacky. Hey, Dad, they're on their way here now. Powered up. All right, thanks.
All right, Jeff Slauson here from 19 News Now at the 19 News Digital Desk. We are going to break back in now as it seems that marchers have arrived outside of the courthouse. We will take you live now to listen in to the chants. So the speeches are going to take place outside of the courthouse in Akron. This is the same courthouse where the grand jury met and declined to indict the officers associated in the shooting and killing of Jayland Walker. We'll take you off that real quick while our photographer gets the shot set up here. Quite a decent crowd, quite a decent group that has shown up there for this march. Again, they marched from about 3 to 5, ultimately ending up at a spot where they now will give a series of speeches, a press conference to discuss what they see as needing to be changed in the future to prevent something like this from happening again. So for starters, it's a Department of Justice investigation into the grand jury's decision to not indict Jayland Walker. Then the second part of that is to demand some sort of a change. And that change, they say, is a list of demands to ensure that the tragedies and injustices are not repeated again that they say happened in this situation. So you're seeing the group starting to gather right now. Let's take a listen.
All right, get up there. This is our building. My tax dollars pay for it. We ain't going nowhere. All right, so the first speaker that we're going to hear from is Miss Pam, Jayland's mother. We're going to hear from Bobby Cello, Ken Abarno, Markel Bridges, Andrew Joseph, Tiffany Michelle, Sabrina Foster, Michael Brown Sr., Aaron.
So we apologize for the bad view here. Let's hope that they can try and potentially clear stuff out to allow the cameras to see.
There'll be a few other speakers. I'll come back to the mic after that. Thanks.
You want to get in front of me?
I'll film it with mine.
Hey! What up, though? All right, so check it out. It ain't my turn to speak, but I want y'all to look at these signs on the federal building and how this is a police city. But I need y'all to get off of that wall. See, they done cut my mic on me. I need y'all to get off that wall because I don't want y'all to get arrested and then we all end up in jail. So let's get off the wall. Because this is a police city. And they're looking for any reason to pull their guns out. And we're here for safety of us. I don't care about them. But we're here for safety of us.
That's right. Protect those
and understand, your money paid for them signs that they put on your building to keep you out of it. Just as we continue to talk about voting.
All right, so we're going to cut in here again as we wait to see if we can try and get a little bit of a better view here. You can see how packed it is. Yeah, not the best to try and get footage of this, which ultimately is a goal of something like this. It seems that the lawyer is now speaking. He has represented the family throughout all of this.
Ladies and gentlemen, in support of Jayland Walker, can I hear his name, please? Jayland Walker! Again! Jayland Walker! One more time! Jayland Walker! Now I want you to repeat after me. Pam Walker! Pam Walker! Pam Walker! Pam Walker! Pam Walker! Pam Walker! That is a proper greeting.
Thank you.
And a proper introduction to a woman who has become like family for us, and I know to you as well. And so I present to you the mother of Jayland Walker, Miss Pamela Walker.
came down to support us once again today. Appreciate it very much. I just have some thoughts and I wanted to read. So just bear with me, okay? Okay. Okay. Of course, you know I'm Pam Walker already. Jayland Walker was my only son. Jayland was a quiet, kind, and beautiful young man who aspired to be a business owner. He drank smoothies, and he ate healthy. He spent almost every weekend with his family, enjoying a meal together, or helping out at his grandma's house, or watching movies or sports with us. Our home was always filled with joy when Jayland was over. We never wanted him to leave. But he was taken away from me. Last June 27, when he was killed by members of the Akron Police Department, Jayland, unarmed and running away from the police, when the 8 officers unleashed a hail of bullets, shooting at him over 90 times. 90 times. 90. And I've learned that 46 of them struck my son. And as a retired nurse, I understand where every bullet struck my son. The unimaginable pain it inflicted upon him as well. His body was mutilated by gunfire. And even though he was clearly dead, he was handcuffed. We love you.
We love you, Mama.
All of this started over what police stated was a broken tail light. His death has left me heartbroken. One can assume all parents who have a child die have a broken heart, but this is different. Every day, every minute, every hour, I'm thinking about what happened to my son. And my heart breaks all over again. Every day it breaks all over again. My heart breaks because of how the BCI investigation was conducted. My heart breaks because the grand jury determined that 8 officers killing my unarmed son with 90 shots is somehow reasonable force, even after the first 2 officers initially tried to tase Jayland. My heart breaks because the system that protects these officers stops us from getting the answers and justice that we want and that we deserve. I recall the special prosecutors telling me that there was at least a 51% chance that one of the officers would be indicted because this was a very bad case and so many bullets were fired at my son. Yet today there's no indictment. Not one officer was reprimanded. And I think one even got a promotion. How about that? Please do whatever you can to make sure that my family and this community gets justice. Jayland knows how much I love him and miss him so much. And we'll continue to fight for justice. Hashtag justice for Jayland. God help us. Justice for Jayland. 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 We love you.
We love you. Let's do it for Pam Walker.
I have a media pass. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, so We have some very honored guests. I'm going to change this up a bit. You don't need to hear from the lawyers right now. You need to hear from people who are out there in this community and across the country who have come to be with you today, who have shared the pain of police violence, who live a calling to support the survivors of excessive police force. And I'm going to start with Marquel Bridges, Gulfport, Mississippi, from Building Bridges. Round of applause for Marquel, please.
I usually don't like to speak in public. I like to keep the focus on the families. I'm gonna say that everywhere we go. Think about that. This is about justice. We're here for justice. That's the only thing that matters. Take yourself out of the equation. Take the cameras out of the equation. Take emotion out of the equation. And it's justice. Everywhere I go, every city I go, it's the same. It's these families losing their babies and the lack of community support. I'm gonna say that again. It's the families losing their babies and the lack of community support, the lack of transparency from the police department, from the mayor's office, on down to the DA and the coroner and everyone involved. That complicit in killing us everywhere I go. The cases are being no bill. Nobody's being held accountable for killing us. I'm gonna say that nobody's being held accountable for killing us. No matter where you go in the world, nobody's being held accountable. We say Black Lives Matter. Well, it's time for us to make them know how much it matters. Make them know how much it's worth. I gotta introduce these things, but I just want to reiterate that to y'all. I can't stress that to y'all enough. When the cameras leave, it's y'all in the community. It's y'all getting harassed. When the cameras are gone, it's this family grieving. It's a daughter grieving. It's this family grieving every day. Every day. This don't just stop when their loved one being murdered. Their psychological health, their mental health, everything plays a part into this fight that they're going through. And I'm telling you, they're killing us and doing away with it. But I have here with me Andrew Joseph, Uncle Bobby Johnson, Mike Brown. I'm tired of saying names. Mr. Freeman Austin Jr., Miss Tiffany Michelle, Jayland Walker's mom. I run Building Bridges for Community Unity and Progress. It's a collective of impacted families that started in Mississippi, now it's branched out national, along with real Mississippi grassroots, national grassroots, LA. Chosen for Change, Father Chosen for Change, not blood, love not blood campaign. I just want to thank the Freedom Block for allowing us to come into your space. Excellent job, amazing. Keep stepping, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how the haters don't let nobody tell you, oh boy, keep fighting for justice and you fight.
And what is your angle? What's your zoom on? Is it wide?
Let's hear it for him, please. A man who's doing some work in the community. I'm going to bring up now somebody not too far from here. Angel, we're going to be bringing in just a second. Hold on 1 second. I got to do Miss Williams. So we don't only represent the Walker family, we represent the Williams family from Canton, Ohio. And if you don't know Marquetta's story, her husband was killed on January 1st of 2022. He was shooting off his guns to celebrate the new year when an officer shot and killed him. I just wanted her to be here to support the family, of the Walker family, and to lend her thoughts about this day and this event. Go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Marquetta Williams. I'm the wife of the late husband James Williams, who was shot and killed in Canton on January 1st, 2022. I am honored to be here to stand with Ms. Pam and her family as well as the Walker family. At the end of the day, we just want justice. All these lives that been taken from the police is ridiculous. They don't tell us anything. They act like they can just gun our families down like they're animals. And that's what happened with my husband as well as Jayland. And it shouldn't have. So I'm standing here today with my family on behalf of their family and support. I just want everybody to pray for all of our families that we get justice. Thank you.
Love you! I'm free. 1, 2, 3. Marquetta! Marquetta! Marquetta!
Justice for James!
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 Justice Joseph, come on. Now we have from Tampa, Florida, Mr. Andrew Josephs, who's brought his thoughts and his heart to share with you today.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. You know, we want to thank the law firm for taking this case. It's very difficult. Attorneys take these type of cases. It's the most difficult feeling in the world to have to go to the graveyard to visit your child. You know, as a father, a 14-year-old murdered by the sheriff in Tampa, Florida, I know from first-hand experience. I know when these cameras disappear, it's going to be real dark for this family. She's going to need your support. You can see you can't turn this thing off. It bounces around in your head all day and all night. And most of these families that's standing behind me, that's coming behind me, if they only had the rights of a dog, we no longer fight for human rights. I say it again. If we only have rights of a dog, you see, you couldn't shoot a dog 94 times without America going crazy.
That's right, that's right, that's right, that's right.
You couldn't stand on a dog for 9 minutes like they did George Floyd.
That's right.
You couldn't shoot a dog with his paws up like they did Michael Brown.
That's right.
You couldn't go into a dog's house and shoot a dog while he was in his house like they did Breonna Taylor.
That's right.
You couldn't put a dog in the car like they did my son and drive him around the back 3 or 4 times and put that dog out the house and say, get home the best way you can.
My Lord. My Lord.
A dog. Think about that, America. We will settle for animal rights. Say his name. Jayland Walker. Say his name.
Jayland Walker.
Say his name.
Jayland Walker.
It'd be my honor and privilege to bring out Mr. Michael Brown from third to the final body.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, it is hard to believe the amount of suffering these families have endured, and none more so than Mr. Brown Sr., who's come to speak to you all the way from St. Louis, and you know what happened in St. Louis. So, Mr. Brown?
Hands up, don't shoot! Hands up, don't shoot!
Hands up, don't shoot!
Hands up, don't shoot.
Hands up, don't shoot!
Hands up, don't shoot.
Hands up, don't shoot!
Last Saturday was Mike's birthday. He was 27 years old. August 9th was right around the corner. So I can understand what this family is going through. It's pain. It's a life sentence. And I'm just here with the family of Jayland Walker, you know, in solidarity with you guys. You know, I'm glad I came. You know, I'm glad I was invited, you know. But we got to keep fighting. We got to stay in front of it. The momentum cannot die out. We got to keep the fire going. Love y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Now, from San Jose, California, Mr. Uncle Bobby.
Yeah.
Come on up, Mr. Uncle.
Thank you. You've all already heard me speak, so I'm just gonna go ahead and introduce Ms. Foster, Sabrina Foster first, and of course she'll be followed by my dear sister, Stephanie, last name, Rochelle. So,
Sabrina, come on. So it is also my distinct privilege to represent the Foster family from New Orleans. You have to pay close attention to what she's about to tell you. If you don't know, her son played for the New Orleans Saints. And he's no longer with us today, and she came to tell you a little bit about his life and her ability to be here and why she's here and the support that she's asking you to give not only her son, but Jayland Walker's family as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, I'm Sabrina Foster. My son, Liam, was Glenn Foster Jr. We are originally from Chicago. My son played for the Saints. That's what took us to New Orleans. As my son decided not to play for the Saints, he decided to open up a business. He was a businessman, and before he died, he was traveling to Alabama. Pickens County Police Sheriff's Department, they took him in due to a minor traffic violation. My son died 2 days later. So just like Ms. Walker, we are asking everyone for support. We want justice. Lynn was my only son, same as Jayland was her only son. Jayland wanted to be a businessman. He didn't live to do that. My son was a businessman. He was a family man. He was a husband, a father of 4 daughters. At the time of his death, they were ages from 1 through 10. So now, they're living a life without their dad. So I'm leaving. So Pickens County Police, Alabama, you're not going to get away with this. We want justice. My son was a beautiful young man. He was only 31. December 6, 2021 is when I received that phone call saying that my son died. And they said it was of natural causes. But we know better. The autopsy proved otherwise. So we cannot continue to let them get away with this. Right? There were other people who came before my son. My son was next. Someone else's, throughout the United States, son is going to be next. How much longer are we going to say my son is next? We need to stop it. We don't want anyone else to be next. So we have to stop it now. Thank you very much.
Say his name. Sabrina Foster. Sabrina Foster. Sabrina Foster. Sabrina Foster. Sabrina Foster. Sabrina Foster. Glenn Foster. Glenn Foster. Glenn Foster. Glenn Foster. Glenn Foster. Glenn Foster. Jayland Walker. Jayland Walker. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
Tiffany? From Houston, we have Tiffany Rochelle who's with us, and she's going to tell you about her story and how she came here. A beautiful person, a beautiful family. Again, another family here to support Jayland and to share a little bit about their struggle as well.
Hello, my name is Tiffany Rochelle. I am the mother of Jayland Randall from Houston, Texas. Tragically, my son was murdered on April 27, 2022. At 2:45 p.m., Officer Shane Privet of Houston Police Department killed my son. During the incident, Officer Privet approached Jayland, and before approaching Jayland, Privet made a statement: Jayland will not leave the neighborhood. Sounds premeditated to me. He also, once Jayland entered out the car, he entered out his car. He then, 3 seconds, shot my son. Before he gave a command, he said, "Oh shit." He said, "Oh shit." It's important to note that my son posed no threat to this officer. He shot my son in the back of the neck. Losing Jayland has been incredibly painful. And it has been over a year since the fight of justice with the unjust system. Today I stand in solidarity representing Jayland Walker, Jayland Randall, and everybody that is going through the same tragedy. We have to stand together. We can't continue to be disconnected as a race. If we don't pull it together, we're going to have this happen over and over and over again. How many times do we say enough is enough?
and don't do nothing. We need to stand. Our race, we need to stand. I love this unity in this place. I love this unity because we can't get this out in Houston, Texas. We have supporters, but y'all have came out to support Jayland. And y'all ought to be proud of yourself to come together as black people to support this young man. We are not asking, we are demanding justice today. Today, we gotta cut out all of the riffraff. We don't need to let them victimize our character, acting like that we are not worthy. We are worthy, our lives are worthy. And you have to believe that. You need to tell each other, you are worthy and our lives matter. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Thank you.
Now we have two more guests, and I'll be announcing the family's demands to wrap up. But I want to move first to a dear friend and a national leader in the conversation about social justice. Reverend Mark Thompson has been with us since the beginning. He was on phone calls with us early on. He's been on MSNBC talking about Jayland. He's been in many different places, in many different spaces, keeping Jayland's name alive. And you have to listen carefully to listen how he speaks. Pay attention. And so I bring to the microphone Reverend Mark Thompson.
Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Let me first of all congratulate Freedom Bloc, the Akron NAACP, the Akron Urban League, St. Ashworth Temple, all of the local organizations and individuals on the ground for making this first national march for justice for Jayland Walker a tremendous success. Let's give them all a round of applause. The no good Akron police didn't expect as many of us to be here, but we are here. And Akron police, what you see is what you get. As we stand here to demand justice for Jayland, and we should also applaud the courage of all of these families who have come here from near and far to support Jayland and to press their petitions for justice and humanity. When Pamela Walker lost her son, I became her son. All of us are now her sons and daughters. Why? Because we have to stand up in Jayland's spirit. None of these mothers or sons should be without their sons and daughters because of what the police did to them. None of us can say, that'll never be me, or that will never happen to me, because it has happened to us. These are our families. These are our people. And so whatever happens to them happens to us. Whatever injustice or loss they've suffered, we've also suffered. And this is not the last. As Bobby comes to press forward the demands, we need you to join us again about a month from now. Because we're going to take this national movement for Jayland Walker to Washington, D.C., to the Department of Justice, and demand that they open their own investigation into the assassination, really the lynching of Jayland Walker, and demand that they meet with Pamela and Jayland. Put June 27th on your calendars, everybody. Don't meet us there, beat us there. Pastor Deidre Nett, we're going to organize buses. Where's the pastor? We're going to organize buses
to bring people from Akron into D.C., and we're going to invite people from all over the country, all of these families. Can you meet us in D.C.? How many of you can meet us in Washington, D.C., June 27th?
That's right.
That is the anniversary, the marking, the commemoration of Jayland's martyrdom. So meet us in Washington, D.C., and let's turn the Department of Justice into the Department of Justice for Jayland. The Department of Justice for Jayland. Until there's justice for Jayland, we're at this federal building now. Until there's justice for Jayland, we shall not be moved. Until there's justice for Jayland, we shall not be moved. Until there's justice for Jayland, we shall not be moved. Just like all trees, we all are planted by the water, we shall not be moved. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Why don't you say his name?
Let's hear it for Reverend Mark, please. Reverend Mark Thompson, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Reverend Mark. And now from Cleveland, Ohio, and the Greater Cleveland Inclusion Coalition, the Reverend Aaron Phillips.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! I am a preacher, so I will make a Bible reference. The Bible says in Ephesians 4:26, be angry, but don't sin. I don't know about y'all, but I'm angry. Matter of fact, I'm pissed off. And y'all, we all ought to be angry right now. I'm so sick, I'm like Fannie Lou Hamer, I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I'm mad as hell. I'm mad because the systemic problem of killing our people, not just in Akron, but in Texas, in Ferguson, in Cleveland, all across the country, we have the same problem. The people who have been charged to protect and serve us are killing us. And that should make us mad. Now, it's all right to get mad. You just cannot see it. So I'm instead of being messed up and doing wrong, I'm going to do right. So I'm going to keep on marching because I'm mad. I'm going to keep on fighting because I'm mad. I'm going to keep on standing because I'm mad. And we ought to all do the same. We cannot give up this fight. I know many people are tired of marching and tired of seeing this over and over again, but we didn't bring this fight. This fight was brought to us. But because it's brought to us, baby, you better believe I'm ready to fight. And we're going to keep on standing and standing together for all of us. Because Pastor Thompson is right. What happens to Sister Pam and the rest of these families, they all happen to us. That's right. And we're all one family together. When their blood is shed, our blood is shed. We're going to stand together. Reach out, would you, to these families. If you just can, reach your hand towards them. As they're representing us, we're going to say a word of prayer.
Yes, yes.
Believe it, me, my brothers and sisters, those of you who are, some people believe that if you're a Christian, you shouldn't be fighting. But let me tell you, that's what Christianity is all about. That's right. That's right. That's why I don't get upset, people cussing. It's all right. And we heard worse things before. But we're mad. We're going to fight as Christians, as Muslims. You don't even have to be a believer. We're going to stand together. Because we're one people. So let's lift our hands and we're praying to our God. Father, we come at this momentous moment, not because we want to, but because we have to.
Yes, yes.
And we have been charged to be here at such a time as this.
And we don't come for fame or fashion, but we're coming because the cause is right. We're coming because we want justice. We're going to keep on fighting and keep on standing and keep on marching until justice comes our way. And even though, God, we know that weeping endures for the night, and we have pain right now. But Lord God, we believe that joy is coming in the morning because we're going to keep on fighting and staying together as one family. In your name, oh God, we pray. Amen.
So Reverend Phillips, please. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we come to the part of the meeting today where the family, through me, gets an opportunity to make some demands. We've heard about justice. And justice is a step-by-step process, and it begins with the demand that the Ohio Attorney General's office release and make public the full transcript of the grand jury proceedings involving the Akron police officers responsible for the death of Jayland Walker. Because there was no indictment against any of the officers who killed Jayland, the public deserves to know what evidence was presented.
Say full transcript. Say full transcript.
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 There you go.
Second demand. We stand behind the community's demand for the firing and or resignation of the 8 officers involved in the shooting. Third demand. We support the community's request for the official release of the names of the officers, even though they say there are alleged public safety concerns, and the need for transparency outweighs any other notion that might be attacked. There we go, we got it, we get it. Testing. Testing.
Sound check, sound check.
Sound check.
Right here, right here.
Say it, we gonna say it.
Okay. All right.
Say fire the office.
There we go.
Say fire the office, say name your name.
Say fire the officers! Jayland Walker! Okay, now we demand that the United States Department of Justice conduct a pattern or practice investigation into the Akron Police Department, given the extreme level of force used against Jayland, an unarmed black male. Number 5, we demand that the state of Ohio eliminate qualified immunity. It no longer serves a valid policy goal. It only shields officers from accountability for heinous acts of violence. Number 6, we demand the enactment of Jayland's law.
That's right. That's right.
It will make it unlawful for officers to chase and pursue anyone involved in fleeing from a traffic stop. It will create a policy in every community that all in-service police vehicles are equipped with dash cams. It will create a policy for every police department that all on-duty officers have their body-worn cameras activated throughout the duration of their shift. And it will create an unarmed traffic enforcement unit for routine traffic stops. Finally, it will eliminate the use of tear gas and bullets on non-violent protesters and create an unarmed protest safety squad tasked with acting as first responders to protests. So, as we close our gathering, I want you to hear from my partner, Ken Barnard, who has come to share some thoughts from our Congresswoman Sykes, who spoke at our last press conference. I also want you to know what's on my heart today. Many of you may see me as someone who's here to take advantage, because I'm a lawyer in a nice suit with a client and a case. But I'm telling you the truth when I say we are here, and Jayland and Jada and Pam know this. We are here until these demands are met and until we get justice for Jayland.
All right, we have a couple more speakers, two more speakers. We're going to hear from Teresa LeGrier with the Akron Urban League. We're then going to hear from Judy Hill from the Akron NAACP. We're going to hear from the National NAACP, Mandela. Then we're going to hear from our Executive Director and esteemed leader, Reverend Ray Green. And then we'll close out. Good evening. My name is Teresa LeGrier. I serve as the President and Chief Executive Officer of your Akron Urban League. I have to sort of echo what the minister said earlier. This mess makes me mad. For so many centuries of systemic and structural racism that has been embedded and built into systems in this country to try to make us believe that we are imagining how we're being treated, and the reason that so many black and brown people, especially black men, are being killed is because they just, for some reason, are just more dangerous and more threatening, and it's just ridiculous. And so our Urban League has been in this community for 98 years, fighting this fight. So this isn't a new fight, this is just the most current fight. So as everyone's already said, the fight will continue. I also represent the National Urban League, which is located in Washington, D.C., and today we renew our request for the Department of Justice to open a pattern of practice investigation into the Akron Police Department. That's right. Jayland's death is emblematic of long-term systemic problems in the Akron Police Department, which received a score of only 42 out of 100 from Police Scorecard, an organization that evaluates law enforcement agencies nationwide. 42 out of 100. Police Scorecard calculated that between 2013 and 2021, before Jayland's killing, Akron Police Department kills civilians at a higher rate than 58% of other police departments. I think that is clearly indicating that there is an inside systemic problem with how they treat people. Recent data indicates that Jayland's death has only further depressed Akron Police Department's recruitment efforts. The Urban League has worked hard to try to encourage our community to consider being police officers, but they don't want to. I mean, this has depressed people's interest in even being on the force, and it's damaged the incident. This incident has damaged police community relations. We urge the Department of Justice to open a pattern of practice investigation to investigate constitutional habitual abuses and restore community trust in Akron. This is an essential step to ensuring justice and healing the rifts caused by dangerous policing. Our community wants to know that effective and sustained change has occurred within the ranks of Akron Police Department. Swift accountability is a non-negotiable. We are pleased to hear that our new presumptive mayor, Shamus Malik, has said that one of his top priorities in January will be safety. We cannot change what we don't acknowledge. And so we are going to hold him accountable for what he said during the debates, and we are looking forward to working with him. No justice, no peace.
You know, as folks in the comments streaming out, we're asking to bear with us. There's also dinner that's going to be served at the church. I wanted to let folks know that we're going to feed y'all. So just bear with us.
Want to welcome Judy Hill.
I don't need an intro. I don't need an intro. Clearly, those of you that don't know, my name is Judy Hill. I'm president of the local branch of the Akron NAACP. I'm here because of this baby. I'm here because of what this mother said earlier. And I want you to know that we're here because of all these individuals that have lost loved ones, right? You keep challenging me to stand. And you told me that we were going to stand and not just by myself. So I'm doing it for her. We're doing it for these young women over here. That's right. And we're going to keep standing until we get some change. That's right. I want you to know that we have allies all over. There's someone that has been looking at the AG's report. It's interesting that the grand jury ignored some facts. Do you know that when the police officers came and made their initial reports, not one of them said, not one, that there was a gun found on the seat of Jayland Walker's car? Did you know that when they found this supposed picture of a gun and a ring, you know that picture did not have a time stamp on it? Every time, every one of their alleged pictures has a time stamp. So our allies are dissecting all this information. You guys, there was so much info, it made me sick. Because I love Mrs. Walker and her family, right? But I want you to know that it's not just Akron. The National NAACP is standing with us. They are helping to make sure that we get justice, not just for Jayland Walker, but for every family represented here. And so I forget my notes. I want you to know that he's standing here with me. He's going to stand with us in D.C. and he's going to stand for freaking justice for all these families.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Manley Deskins. I'm the Director of Advocacy for the NAACP. I'm here today to support all of the families, to support the larger community, and to be here to show you all, to remind you all that we as the NAACP are here to support our families and our communities across the country as we continue to deal with this issue that we have dealt with for over 100 years. The one thing I want to share is that across this country we see a resurgence of white supremacy. We see vigilantes killing black people. And we still see cops killing black people. And that's happened for far too long. So I'm not going to say a whole lot here. I'm just going to say we are with you. The NAACP family is with you. And we hear you. Thank you.
My brother!
Good afternoon, good evening. I know y'all hot and tired, so we're going to get ready to get out of here. I got a couple words I want to say. I want to first bring up my brother, my dear brother, Robert Dejournay, to stand next to me.
Robert!
He was trying to stand in the background, but I want to make sure his energy is here and everybody see who is bringing us all together. I get a lot of credit for this brother called me when it first happened, because his love and trust in me. So I want to make sure we never forget he's in the forefront of this fight for us. Before Jayland Walker was killed, he was working at the Black Chamber, ensuring that we get our just dues based off the work that we have to do in this community. So I want to make sure we acknowledge him, and make sure he's standing next to me. The next thing I want to do is, first of all, acknowledge Pam and Jay, that my condolences continue, and my blessings continue to be with you. We continue to be on the front line for you, fighting for you, with your love and support of us. We thank you for giving us this reign, this platform to continue to fight, but not only just for you, but for all of our fallen soldiers at the end of the slave section violence. And we love you and thank you, Lord. To all the families that are here from across the country that have lost a loved one to state-sanctioned violence, we stand here in solidarity with you today. We stand here in love with you today. We stand here in partnership with you today as we continue to build a new America. As we continue to look at our inner cities and understand that our inner cities are not bad, our inner cities are deficient of resources. And you don't have to go far to find where those resources are at. Those resources are embedded into police departments all over the country. And we have to take back what's ours. We can no longer beg for what's ours. We can no longer wait for what's ours. But we must build a nationwide coalition and take back what's due to us. We only need police for one reason, to protect the haves from the have-nots. And right now, we are tired of being the have-nots. When the police department have money that can make us whole. Now, the families that are here, Pam and Jayland that are here, we can never make them whole again. There's no amount of check that they're going to get. There's no amount of money that's going to be funneled into our communities that's going to make them whole again. But today, we must mark a line in the sand that says no more. No more killing of our babies. No more watching our babies kill each other because they're starving for resources in our community. No more talking about black-on-black crime and white-on-white crime when we have police violence. No more talking about black-on-black crime when we have legislative violence. No more talking about black-on-black crime when a white man can come to a place that already settled and say he founded it and then enslave the very people that he has taken the land from. We must join hands together and not only fight, but we must cry together. We must pray together. We must hurt together. We have been taught how to build relationships in a manner that doesn't allow us to do this on a regular basis. So it's going to take some hurting and some praying and some crying together. For all of my youth that are here today, this movement is yours. But you can't move without the wisdom of the elders. To all my elders here, this movement is for the youth. Stop discouraging and begin to encourage. Get out the way and give them knowledge and understanding. Stop being judgmental, but be in struggle with our young people. That allows for them to carry on the banner of justice. Allows them to move throughout the city and throughout this country with a message of, we shall overcome. And I don't care about any buildings being destructed. What I care about is black babies continuing to be killed by the police.
That's right.
So this is the time for judgment of the young people to the older people, or the older people to the young people. This is a time for wisdom to be handed down and the strength and the fortitude of the youth to be lifted up. And those two ingredients will get us to liberation and freedom, because that's what this is about. Liberation and freedom. This is about no more black boys and girls being killed by state-sanctioned violence throughout this country. So we stand here together to continue to put pressure on our government. But more importantly, we stand here together to register to vote. We stand here together to learn a political ideology. We stand here together for leaders in this crowd today to run for office so we can get behind you and change the legislation that continue to kill us. We can't change the hearts of evil men. That's not our job. But our job is to make these evil men irrelevant by being activated like we are today. So today, as we stand in unity, as we stand together, let's not look at each other as the enemy no more. There's one clear present enemy in this country, and it is the government. And what we have to do is band together and take over the government. We must take it over. These signs that are hung up on these walls today that keep us off this plaza that you pay the taxes for, we must end that. That's on us. So I'll stand with you all today and I'll say thank you and I love you. Thank you for coming out. But this can't be a one-off. When you go back to Texas and when you go back to Los Angeles and when you go back to California, understand that we're with you. Do the work that needs to be done. This isn't the work, this is the culmination of the work. We have plenty of examples from Jeffrey Stevens to Raphael Rock Thomas to Mike Brown Jr., to Oscar Grant, to Muhammad Isfan, to Jayland Walker. We have examples of how we have been hurt in this country just through the eyes of those youth. But today we mount up against that, and we join arms, just as we march down here, to say no more. No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No racist ass!
No peace!
Thank you. Let's go back and get some food. Follow the direction of the marshals, and let's continue to be safe. I love you all. Thank you.
All right.
If we have people that can't walk, we do have vehicles. So who's ever in control of the vehicles? That's a tactic. That's a tactic.
Thank you all for coming.
We going up Market Street. We're going up Market. That's all.
All right, so that is it from the Jayland Walker speeches there. I want to reiterate, I know that we're a little bit past this, or at least when they announced it, but I want to reiterate the demands that were listed before we do let you all go here. The demands listed were the release of the grand jury transcript calling on the Attorney General's office to do that. Second, the firing and resignation of officers that were involved in this. Third, the release of the names of the officers involved. They also want the Department of Justice to change the pattern of practice when it comes to the investigation of this and to look into the pattern of practice in this. They want them to eliminate the qualified immunity clause with officers in a situation like this. They say that there should also be Jayland's Law passed, which would make it unlawful for certain procedures to take place when it comes to the stopping of certain people, especially when it is a traffic stop. They want the dash cams installed in every single officer's car. And then lastly, they are hoping to eliminate the use of tear gas for protesters. Our Michelle Nix has covered this extensively today and will continue to cover this story for us. We will have her report tonight on 19 News at 10 and 11. Coming up at 7 o'clock, we will also have our special coverage as well coming up very soon tonight. That'll be the next thing that we have here on Digitally Protecting Our Kids, a 19 Solutions special report that'll air tonight on 7:30 over on the CW. And of course, our traditional 19 News coverage will continue between then and now. For now, I'm Jeff Sloss of 19 News. Have a great night, great day. Much more to come both on air and online.
19 News, now streaming on Samsung Smart TV. Search for channel 1035.